Hello, my name is Swiss Bianco. In this video we will have a look at the R15 from Radical Firearms. It's the SOCOM model. Dealer in my area had a special sale towards Christmas. So the whole rifle was $399 out of the door. So I wanted to test out that brand of R15 rifles, and this is just a video on sample 1 of 1. Nothing was selected, so we're gonna talk a bit about what we got and how it's working. Now the item comes in a simple but sturdy cardboard box. Good form in it, nothing fancy. We have that bag here in it next to the rifle. The usual cable lock. We have a made in Texas, USA sticker from Radical Firearms, and then of course we have here the manual. Since it's mainly about using the R15, I'm not gonna show the whole pages of that manual. It's quite a manual. We have 47 pages, maybe the last page there with the information where to email and all that should be on the video. But it's basically how to use an R15, and we all should know that anyhow. Then the item comes with one shiny magazine. It's a Elander magazine. We see that here on that stamp there. Actually we need to hold it like that so that we can read the E. It's a steel magazine. With a white non-tilting follower in this case. Pretty good spring tension. The item is brand new in a wrapper. I just took it out of the wrapper. It's not yet tested or loaded or anything. But the negative thing to say on that magazine is the shininess. That would be great if they would use a paint that would not be as shiny as that one is. I don't know who in the heck they could select such a shiny paint, but that's not too tactical, unfortunately. And yeah, that is basically what you get next to the rifle, of course. This version has the B5 furniture. We have the B5 grip in black and B5 stock as well. The stock has the usual sliding action like usual. Now the B5 furniture I did not test out before. That was the first time that I could actually test this furniture out, and the quality is outstanding. Really nice made. No wonder many of their stocks get used by the US military for the professional use. We have on the end of the stock a QD if you want to use that. We have sling slots there, and then of course the usual part here where you press to adjust it in length. The grip itself has a pretty good size for a bigger hand, so if you have small hands that's maybe not the way to go, but for bigger hands it's pretty nice. There is a plug-in available too to put in to close the hole that holds batteries. I did not yet order that. You can get those rifles with a variety of different buttstocks and furniture, be it the Magpul variation or the standard military variation. Also the Mission First Tactical I saw. This with the B5 was just a the standard version that they had in stock at that store. We have then typical aluminium lower, CNC milled, nothing special there either. Same is with the millet upper. It's just a typical version. And then we have a free float handguard. We see that we have anti-rotation tabs. That's really important nowadays, so that the item would not rotate out of the straight direction. Unfortunately, it has a little bit a play there, so as it arrived brand new out of the box, the free float was a bit angled on the upper. That is easy to be adjusted with just loosening those 2 screws plus the one on the bottom here. Then you can adjust it so that the thing is straight. Should be straight from the factory, but that is how that is for that price. It was easy to fix. The barrel nut below it is the typical deal in steel, with just the screw going down into it from the bottom, so it can't push forward, and the 2 clamping screws here, as we all know it. And then we have the M-lock fore end, free floating, of course. We have rather big cutouts on top and on the bottom, but by the 3, 6 and 9 o'clock position we have M-lock, through M-lock. That is all really nice. Then below is the barrel, a socom profile. It's a mid-length, typical steel gas block there, and a typical flash hider without the cuts on the bottom, how it should be. Nothing fancy, but those are really nice and work well. It's straight mounted and all that. Now, as for the problems or negative parts, the gas block is dimpled. It has 2 screws at the bottom, as we all know it. Those are dimpled and Loctited in, but the pin that holds the silver color gas tube in place, that was or is a rather loose affair in this one. So it's pinned in place, but somehow that pin was quite likely a bit out of spec, so it would slide in and out too easy for my taste. That is something that you need to watch on yours. If that is moving basically by, if you press it like with the bullet of the tip of the bullet to one side, if it just slides back and forth, because that could press and slide out as you shoot the rifle. That I need to fix. And the other negative is the anodizing. Those shouldn't be blemished receivers or parts. We see here the part here and here that had already those I would not say dings, but I would say the by the anodizing process there was a bit of dirt or something, so it did not get black anodized correct, and we have that in more spaces than those two. That is a bit a problem. Also, the rifle was completely dry. There was no lube added on it in any way, not by the bolt, not by the trigger assembly, not by anywhere else. So as you get that rifle prior you shoot, you need to lube it up. The action then after a couple rounds works in relatively smooth with the lube on it, especially the trigger. We have a traditional mil-spec trigger, nothing fancy, but This variation of the mil-spec trigger that they use by Radical Firearms is rather smooth, rather well, but it needs the oil to get going. The rifle doesn't come with any sights, so you see the sights that are on it. I did mount those. Also the rubber part here to protect the hand from the pick rail is not coming with it, of course. No foregrip. And what I also did change already is that part here. It just has a regular trigger guard, the one that we all know. It's just a aluminium part that can swing out. I had a solid aluminium one that is a bit bigger in stock, so I did mount that already. The rest inside is all good. The bolt is correct staked, makes a good impression. The spring, the buffer, everything looks pretty good in that regards. There nothing special to worry about. One last point is the castle nut over here. That thing is put on really strong. That is with a big wrench. They did wrench that on, so it shouldn't go anywhere, but they did not tell me if they did use a Loctite on it. And for sure what we see here, there are no stakings on the castle nut, so if you want to serious use that rifle, then you need to stake that part. As I just remember, the other part what I don't like is the safety is for with both sides of the rifle with the flange here to use, but it's a full flange here instead of a cutout, so that you as a right-hander would not bump it, that part here is not in the way. It's easy to change. You can even Dremel it off and then cold blue it if you want to do that. That is relatively easy to do. It's amazing that they put a double side safety selector on it for that price anyway, but they did, so that did work out really well too for the little money. The other problem we have up here, we see the paper, and I saw that by Mr. Guns and Gears video that he did a couple years ago on such a rifle as well. Somehow the CNC milling of the top rail is not 100% on spec how it should be. So by clamping sights on that rail, you may have a problem that it won't clamp 100% if you use a sight that doesn't have the adjustability over a standard rail, in spec rail. So we see here for the test I put a bit paper under it, and that worked out to sight in and to test fire the rifle. That whole system gonna be changed anyhow. If you have like a SIG sight where you have a lot of adjustability in the mount, that is no problem to mount that on the rifle. If you have a sight like this one that has a bit of limited adjustability for the clamping, then you may run into a problem. Surprisingly, it's only the upper receiver that is in that way. The free float works without it. So quite likely the free float is not made by the same company as the upper. So that was another problem that I see. Other than that, I would say for the little price, those are great rifles. The barrel makes a good impression too, but I would say that is if you wanna upgrade the rifle, quite likely a barrel change to a higher quality barrel in the mid length gas tube design would be something to do. Maybe that you at least get a spare bottle in a higher quality on sale and then put it away, because the bottle is relatively fast changed if needed, and then you have already a spare part. But for shooting, no problem at all. Ejection, charging, loading, everything works. No problem at all. I did use a couple different magazines so far, mainly the Magpul variety. There we had absolute zero malfunction or any other problems with that rifle. So for me, it was sure worth it. The little problems that we have, we're gonna fix that up and change the parts or fix it up. And the rest, for that price, you can of course get a bunch of parts and build it together, but with this one already you have it assembled in a pretty good way, you know, and that would be a great starting point. So that much about the Radical Firearms rifle.